Welcome back to Car-Pinionated, our weekly show on cars, the car industry, and driving in general. I'm Doug Stewart, and I'm by myself this week, but we have a bunch of stuff that's gone on recently, so I'm going to update you on that. So first off, Ford and Apple are getting together. Ford will be using their Apple's maps in their new universal platform EV. And this will also integrate all the Apple Maps data with their Blue Cruise and self-driving programs, so they can add a layer of information about roads, about police presence, about accidents, about all sorts of things. They can add that into there and have it native in the system. This will also roll out to other vehicles along the line. And so this is the first automaker that is integrating this directly into their system and not having to go through Apple Play. And one of the last lines of the press release is, in addition to the integration of Apple Maps into Ford's UEV program, CarPlay will continue to be available on Ford vehicles, providing drivers with a safe and smart way to use an iPhone in their car. Kind of that's a dig on GM for pulling all Apple CarPlay and Android Auto out of their vehicles. Over in the stock market, prices for Tesla stock are down. It didn't meet Wall Street's expectations for earnings, so it tumbled about 14%. So Wall Street's concern were the amount of cash they're going through and the ramp up of AI products like Cybercab and Optimus. Now, Tesla has said that their Optimus humanoid robot production remains on track for later this year, but key details were missing, according to Yahoo News. Tesla didn't indicate when the latest version of Optimus would be available and when volume production would be achieved. And on the robotaxi front, analysts are concerned that the rollout has been really slow due to safety concerns in cities that they are available. They have about 25 to 50 robotaxis on the road, according to analysts, and that's way down from what Waymo has, which is between 2,000 and 3,000. And when it comes to Waymo, their vehicles are getting into fewer crashes than ones driven by humans. So when you compare the amount of miles driven by Waymo vehicles, this is about 50 million miles in this study, compared to about 222 billion miles for human drivers in the same locations. And that would be Phoenix, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Austin. Those rates are 67% lower than the human-driven vehicles. And that ranges from 76% lower in Phoenix to 35% lower in San Francisco, 71% lower in Los Angeles. And in Waymo's fleet in Austin, it had 4% higher crashes than human drivers. But statistically, that's only a small part of their sample. So in the end, research has said that they do need more data, but it's an encouraging sign. Now, everyone gives Stellantis a hard time because in the US, at least, many of their models are not new and they're not refreshed all that often. But what are selling are the V8s. And for a long time, that's how they made their money, by dropping a V8 in everything they could. Now, the Durango, which has been around since 2011, is having one of its best sales years because it's still one of the few, if not the only, SUV, midsize SUV that has a V8 still. And people are looking for that. So, and according to Autoblog, Dodge is also celebrating the production of the 2026 Durango RT 392 Launch Edition, dealer orders for which, according to Dodge CEO, sold out in 6 hours. If you're in the market for a new Honda Ridgeline, you really might have to wait a while. The 2026 models that are for sale now will be the end of it for about 2 years. The Ridgeline will return in 2028 model year with a new V6 engine and tougher styling. Now, one of the reasons is that the current V6 engine doesn't meet emission standards for the coming years. So they are building a new V6 engine that will do that. There's a new teaser image that shows the silhouette of a truck, which has several changes that are already visible. It appears to be taller, has a more squared off front end, plus a flatter hood and slim horizontal lighting. This could address one of the buyer's holdbacks from buying the Ridgeline, is it doesn't look truck-like enough. And you'll remember when they went from the first generation to the second generation, they created a more truck-like bed in the back. Now, if you're in the market for a new compact sedan, the Civic or the Corolla class, you might want to wait just a bit because the new Hyundai Elantra has been revealed, and it's fantastic looking. It's Hyundai's new design language they're calling the art of steel, and it's very sleek, very forward looking, lots of texture to the body, and it's really pretty interesting, and it doesn't look like it's in that class of car at all. It's called the Avante in other markets. It'll be the Elantra here, and it'll probably be around next year. No details on the engine capacity, anything like that, but it's a stunning looking car. And speaking of new styling, the Corolla looks like it's getting a refresh and being made into an EV. Now, in a broadcast in Japan, Toyota leadership rolled out a new, very styled, very futuristic looking EV version of the Corolla. Now, it remains to be seen what this actually will transpire to be, but Toyota has talked a lot about how they feel like they're losing to China and they have to give themselves a kick in the pants to move on, to move up, to get things going again. And this vehicle is a very forward-looking vehicle. Whether people will buy it, that remains to be seen. Adoption of EVs is very different in other parts of the world than it is in the US. Also, when you're thinking about it, they've taken the Highlander, which is one of their best-selling SUVs, and just made that an EV, and then left the Grand Highlander to be the ICE vehicle and hybrid. This vehicle had been shown at the Japanese Mobility Show back at the end of last year, and it's largely the same looks-wise. It's a very spare interior. Now, my feeling is that Corollas have gotten, and Camrys for that matter, have gotten more cutting-edge looking, and I think eventually somebody going into that showroom to replace their 10-year-old Corolla is going, oh, that just looks too weird to me. But I give them credit for not sticking where they are and not being wed to the past. So we'll see. We're going to be right back after this break. And we're back. I want to share with you a story that I had put together for our Pride is Everywhere special this year about the relationship between LGBTQ plus community and cars.
I like to play a little game where I can identify the cars going in the other direction.
Okay.
So I do that.
Glenn Packman likes cars and has since he was young. You might know Packman as a host for Fox 61's Car-Pinionated.
Don't mess with me, fellas. It's not my first time to the car rodeo.
My parents had a Dodge Dart back in the 1960s, and it was my mom's favorite car. And I remember when they got the car, and it wasn't even a couple weeks old, that my mom went out to the grocery store, and when we got back to the car, a wayward shopping cart had smashed into the side of the Dart. And I remember my mom being uncharacteristically upset about that.
He says the stereotypes of LGBTQ people and cars aren't accurate.
Because we have such vast tastes in automobiles. Really, it's just as broad as any other part of society. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, if you're an L, then you like this, and if you're a G, you like that, and that's definitely not the case.
There has been some marketing to the queer community, most notably Subaru ads that targeted lesbians in the 1990s. For some, it's the draw of the classics.
I have a 1956 Nash Ambassador.
Bill Barnett in Cambridge, Massachusetts, is a member of the Lambda Car Club, whose membership is primarily LGBTQ.
You know, it's just a fun thing. And, you know, the parade in P-Town is just, you know, for a gay person, a car parade in P-Town is bigger than a car parade anywhere else.
Barnett says that the hobby defies some stereotypes.
I think anything that normalizes being queer in society is a good thing. You know, you're into cars, but why not?
New or classic, queer people in cars have always been traveling down the road together. Now, here's something that I shot a while back, and I wanted to share with you. I met this woman who has hand-painted her car, and I ran into her at an auto show in Eastern Connecticut in May. Where are you from?
I'm Paige Noble, Doolin, from Colchester, Connecticut.
Okay. And so you have a Subaru WRX STI. Tell me about it.
I bought this, it's been 8 years now. I paid it off last year, and I haven't put a lot into it, but I wanted the cosmetics to look better than what it drives. So I painted it, and I absolutely love it.
And you hand painted it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
Tell me how long that took.
So it took 6 months to get it down to where I needed it to be. And it took, overall the car was a while, but doing the hood and the trunk and the spoiler, the hood alone took me and 3 other people to finish peeling off the decals for the peekaboo effect to it. Took us 6 hours. Took me a week for me just to lay down the vinyl, for me to spray it.
Great job. Great job. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this week's Car-Pinionated. We'll be back next time. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube. Look up Car-Pinionated, and we will see you soon.